Thank you, Peter. And thank you for your kind introduction and detailed introduction. And thank you to all the members of the FCCJ for joining this press conference today. Yes, almost 2 months ago, I was here explaining that I would be running for Tokyo governor. So I'm so delighted to be able to now address you again officially as governor of Tokyo. I chose to run for the governor out of a desire to improve Tokyo and make it a place that women and men, children and elderly, those with disabilities and visitors from abroad would find easier to live and work in. I want to make it a truly world-class city. In order to realize this goal, I emphasized during the election campaign that we need major reforms that will give rise to a city government that is a government of Tokyo, government of Tokyo citizens by Tokyo citizens for Tokyo citizens. As you know, that I entered the election completely as my own. In other words, I have no endorsement by political parties. But I was elected with the support of nearly 3 million citizens. I think many people were calling for reform and voted for me, expecting leadership to restore trust in the city government. My circumstances have completely changed in the last 2 months. As Tokyo governor, I now find myself responsible for 13.6 million citizens and for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games, which will soon draw the attention of people from all over the world. Today, I'd like to take this opportunity to share with you my core principles, which have remained unchanged throughout my campaign, and to expand on how I intend to fulfill the promises I made to the citizens of Tokyo. My key policy as Tokyo governor is to implement major reforms that will put the citizens of Tokyo first. I want to make good on this pledge and intend to push swiftly ahead with these reforms after deciding our priorities. The trust of Tokyo citizens in their city government is essential in order to tackle all the challenges that have steadily accumulated here. However, the city government has been losing the trust due to a recent succession of issues, unfortunately. Reform and greater transparency are what the citizens of Tokyo need most now, and I think that's why so many of them supported me. Rather than continuing the previous policies, what I will do is lead reforms. These reforms are not a goal in themselves, but a step toward putting Tokyo citizens first. Creating a transparent Tokyo metropolitan government is my main goal. Public information disclosure is the first step to improving its transparency. I want to create two-way communication where we talk openly with Tokyo citizens about city government affairs, and on occasion invite frank feedback from third-party observers, as I believe this is the way to run a city government that puts its citizens first. To this end, I will establish and lead a new initiative responsible for scrutinizing the role, organization, and budget of the city government and affiliated organizations with input from outside parties, and I will focus on efficiency, transparency, and clear results. Furthermore, once a reform plan has been drafted, I will formulate sweeping policies not limited to reforming daily work, but extending the restructuring organizations, reviewing management models, and injecting additional investment where necessary. Under this new initiative, I have set up 2 special teams to improve public information disclosure, both structurally and on an individual project basis. The first team will evaluate the current information disclosure procedures and determine what improvements are required to achieve due process. The second team will examine the bidding process and the budget for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government is responsible for the operation of the games, and as the head of the government, am accountable for the total budget and the budgeting process. I will share the result of this investigation via an interim report ahead of the September meeting of the Tokyo Metropolitan Assembly. These measures are aimed at increasing the transparency of the city government so that I hope it can quickly regain the trust of Tokyo's citizens. Creating a city government that can get the best out of the games requires buy-in from the citizens of Tokyo. For the last 24 years, I have approached public policy making based on my political principles of great causes and empathy. As you know, I was elected as a member of parliament for 24 years, almost a quarter century, a long time. Effectively implementing new policies requires citizens to understand their aim. However, worthy the cause, I know from experience that government policy will not be effective unless you have the buy-in and support of the public. A good example, maybe I quoted this last time when I was invited here. Once again, a good example is the cool-based policy I formulated during my term as Minister of the Environment. And in order to combat global warming, I suggested that workers simply take off their ties and jackets during the hot summers, and an idea that was well received by the public and by all of you here. I will continue to proactively promote progressive policies for the city of Tokyo without being tethered to the status quo, and as I did with Kubis, solicit the empathy of Tokyo citizens or support of Tokyo citizens for these great causes. The challenges Tokyo faces have not suddenly changed just because there is a new governor. But it is now my duty to carefully prioritize and implement effective solutions to combat these challenges. The previous governor created a long-term plan for this city, and in addition to this, we are currently preparing a shorter 4-year plan containing policies aimed at addressing a number of urgent challenges before 2020. I will make every effort to effectively implement reform while strengthening the foundation to support even greater development after 2020. We hope to announce this plan formally by the end of the year, but I'd like to take this opportunity today to share our approach with you. During my election campaign, I said that I wanted to create a new Tokyo that is 3 cities in one. I want Tokyo to be a safe city for citizens and visitors alike, a diverse city where everyone belongs, and a smart city which drives future growth. These three new cities are important pillars of my new plan. The safe city is one where people feel at ease and secure. A Tokyo that is more resilient to threats such as terrorism or natural disasters, including typhoon. I'm from Kyoto Prefecture originally and experienced firsthand the damage from the 1995 Great Hanshin earthquake. In the Nagata district of Kobe City, ambulances and the tracks and fire trucks were unable to enter the maze of small streets which had existed since the last war, and were obstructed by telephone and electricity poles that had tilted or fallen during the earthquake. I strongly feel that we must avoid a similar situation arising here in Tokyo. To this end, I'm promoting the construction of homes and buildings that are more resilient to earthquakes and fires, but as I mentioned here on the previous occasion, I am also determined to rid Tokyo of those utility poles to help improve emergency access. Some may think this is just for aesthetic reasons, but it is actually more a matter of disaster prevention and safety. I have already instructed our teams to study ways to effectively bury these lines, and also to ensure that new poles are installed along city streets. By leveraging my political experience and gaining the support of the citizens of Tokyo for this great cause, I will implement these plans for disaster prevention, securing better street access, and beautification of the cityscape. The second city I envision is a diverse city. I want to create a Tokyo where women and men, children and elderly, and visitors from abroad, and those with disabilities are able to live their lives in their own way. Addressing our aging population is a pressing challenge for all Japan, but especially so in Tokyo. More and more elderly people want to spend the remainder of their days living the way they want in an area they are used to, which means higher demand for home care. We already have a regional care system that provides integrated residence, medical care, and living support, but I want to further refine this to make it easier to use. I also plan to secure more facilities and improve pay for care workers to help cope with the expected rise in the number of elderly people, and to also provide improved care for those with disabilities. Next is to urgently create an environment in which women can balance their work and family lives. With the aging population in Tokyo, the reality is that the cities cannot function without women playing a larger role. It is not fair that women are forced to choose between work and having children. This is unfair. We urgently need to find ways to address this situation. Taking the example of the Tokyo government office itself, I think I can say that the way has been paved for women. 1/3 of our employees are women, and women make up 18% of the management positions, which is higher than the average of the national government. Having said that, the number is still low compared to other countries, and I'd like to increase it. And I feel proud that I have always